Hello everyone, Llama here. Wait. Here. Hello. Sylver has recently cooked 4 new videos for Path of Exile 2, and today I will be reviewing this one right here. If you don't know Sylver, he's an outstanding Path of Exile 2 custom content creator. Definitely go check him out if you're into theory crafting and design propositions. So, fan-made Chieftain Ascendancy? Let's get starting. For me, Chieftain is the most thematically fitting Ascendancy for the Marauder in PoE1, and I cannot fathom it not being in PoE2. So I would say the core team is login. The keywords for this Ascendancy, as stated by Sylver, were allies, fitting, as you are allegedly a leader of tribesmen. Resistance, I would say fitting as well, as you are allegedly the toughest fellow out of the band. Tribe, fitting in and on itself. And flexibility, and this one I have my doubts on it, but let's see how it is implemented. Overall, I would say the entire motif is login. Onto the artwork. The shown artwork depicts the subject and all its aspects fairly well, I would say. For the allies right here, you can see here with no ambiguity which side they are on, because they are not on the quads and kind of look around. Resistance, it's something kind of hard to depict, but him being a massive individual holding fire and the feeling that he is in control of his environment and of the rivers works, I think. Tribe, just like allies, the fellas in the background fit the tribal theme as well. Flexibility, this one is a bit trickier because it is a very vague notion, but I would say that the environments, once again, just give this sense of everything being under his grip, or rather his attitude toward the environment, I should say. Fire, this is not one of Sylver's keywords, but there is an emphasis on fire, his hand, his eyes, his tribe and the trail. So since it is not a keyword, I expect it to be a sub-theme. All in all, it makes me want to pick this Ascendancy and become an imposing chieftain. So the depiction is login. Okay, let's evaluate each of the nodes now. I'll be only judging their effects and not the values he picked, because I consider it to be more related to balance than design. Entering the Ascendancy with the tribe system, you pick a tribe which determines your preferential, called tribal, damage and resistance, coupled with additional effects, with the premise that fire damage coming from the nodes in your tree get converted to your tribal damage. Right out of the bat, insane flavor, perfect mechanic. It reminds me of the Primalist Wildwood Ascendancy, which was such a great addition back in Affliction. I like how each tribe has something unique to offer as well. The permanent shock is my favorite effect of them all. I have one small issue about it, however. I fear the option is a little bit too versatile, if that makes sense. Like, you're a brand new player, how do you choose? Also, let's say you're planning a cold damage build. Why not go Chieftain? You have access to easy resistances and access to explosions. Or you're planning a fire damage build. Why not go Chieftain? Easy resistances, access to explosions. Or you're planning a build that deals lightning damage. You get the idea. From the old Chieftain and the depiction of this one, I would understand an emphasis on fire and physical, and I get why you would go all the way in the elemental routes, but I feel like it does not go beyond, alright, guess we're doing lightning damage from now on, but without more depth behind it. And at the same time, you cannot add depth behind it, otherwise you would become more of an elementalist. But I reckon I am magnifying a rather moderate issue, and this node naturally goes to login. The dual node tribal protection, tribal inspiration average out your res or equalize your max res, essentially. Simple yet flexible, strong, fitting. I would say login. Hinekora Fateweaver, ancestor name in the node name, login. More seriously, I like the idea that you can spin your gameplay toward chaos, and I enjoy the fact that it happens one node later and not straight from the get-go, which I might have liked with other elements as well. However, the fact that the node itself is basically Chieftain can into chaos and nothing following up is, I think, a missed opportunity. I would love to see it get expanded further upon, let's say with a new node, leading to a new playstyle relying on sacrifice like altering your life or having to fulfill the constraint of a ritual of sorts. Then I would say login, but as I must decide, this node as it is goes into logout. Dual node Death Fury, Death's Embrace.
Genius.
Classic enemy explode from PoE1, but not limited to fire. Login. I mean, you cannot really go wrong with explosions, right? Because it is always so satisfying.
Hi, I'm Michael Bay.
However, I wonder how relevant it will be in PoE2, because I'm under the impression that we will have meaningful fights with fewer enemies, rather than 0.2 seconds of interactions with a pack of 15 basic mobs. Onto Warbands. Gain a skill that adds warrior NPC by your side. The damage they deal is influenced by your tribal damage. They can randomly get blessed, giving them more powerful abilities for a short time. Very, very cool concept, turning this Ascendancy into a quote-unquote minion build. It fits the theme quite well, since you are the leader of the pack after all. Now, just like with the tribe system, I have a problem with the execution. I will start with the spirits. I find spirits to be both thematically fitting and unfitting. What I mean is that using spirit to gain warriors as the corpses you raise as a basis makes complete sense system-wise from what was shown for minions, but I cannot shake away the kind of discrepancy it has in flavor. You are leading a pack of living people, which you care for, supposedly. In my opinion, they should come to you whilst you are fighting, displaying your strength, and then stick with you. They would be linked to a sort of metric showing your legitimacy as a chief, like coming to you or getting empowered the more exertions you make, for example. Consequently, there would be ways to lose legitimacy, like fleeing fights, for example. I am not saying this as an example of a good implementation, obviously. My point is, their presence as living beings should be valued. Each one would be able to die forever, unless we dabble in a little bit of necromancy. And a gain in legitimacy would add a new one by your side. Now onto the blessing effect. I like the blessing effect, but I do not enjoy the fact that we are getting it randomly. There should be a way to trigger it, in my opinion. It could be as you achieve a breakthrough in a certain metric, like the legitimacy I mentioned earlier. Or it could happen whenever you gain or lose a warrior. Or it could be a skill, plain and simple, although it's not the option on top of my list. I would prefer anything but random. All this doesn't take away the awesome core idea of the node, which is sick, so it's login for me. Ancestral Allegiance. Warrior spirits from the halls of the dead help you in your fights against rare and unique monsters. The idea is cool. I cannot say for sure if I like it because it is not well defined. It is a very spectacular node, I reckon. So it kind of acts like fireworks in a sense, so I can excuse a lack of detailed explanations, otherwise it would just become a very wordy block of text and it would be too frightening to pick. But I cannot brush aside the lack of any explanations at all. Sylver states the champions are tribe leaders from Tota. Wait, aren't we the tribe leaders? Or are we? It still raises a couple of questions, amongst which, do they stick with you the whole fight? Are they AI controlled, player controlled, or do they coordinate their attack with you? How do they benefit exactly from your own effects? Take Ikiaho, for example. Does she throw her original Sylver comet, or would it be converted to your tribal damage? Also, I get why it is linked to Warbands, but I don't think it should be locked under it. You could very well pick this without having a Warband, in my opinion. So I can envision something like this, but not exactly as it is right now, and for this reason it joins the logout. Reclamation. War cries and banners spread tribal grounds which increase tribal damage on enemies, increase ally survivability, and raise warriors from corpses on it. So Warcry and banner support, fitting for the Ascendancy. Tribal ground idea is great in both what it is and does. It kind of claims the soil you fight in as conquered territory, and I like the idea. I like the idea also of temporary raised from the dead warriors coming out of the grounds. I am a little bit sad that it is not explored further. This idea of the descent into the dark arts, a corrupted version of tribalism. It could be linked to Hinekora Fateweaver, or a new follow-up node from it, for example. I think locking it up behind Warband again is a shame. It looks like something you potentially could use outside of it. But the core principle of the node ticks a lot of boxes for me, so it is a login. Chieftain's Mount. Gain access to a mount with a skill on its own and giving various buffs. Peak cooking with a spicy flavor.
Wow, that is delicious.
Bringing the mount's archetype to Chieftain makes a lot of sense in my opinion. The idea of leading your pack from your elevated position like a tribalistic general is awesome. I love it, I'm here for it. Also a node with a banner support, great, we kind of like those. It makes me want a follow-up node with more mount stuff in it, but I have no idea what I would put in. It comes with an array of questions, however. How is it supposed to behave with your skills? I'm thinking strikes and slams, because the Roa mounts that we saw for the Huntress, I think, made sense for bows, because you can still shoot arrows while on it. But what about this one? Can you still use your own skills? Or maybe can it use your skills? It makes me wonder why it is not linked to Warband, since it blends very well in the team of the army. I mean, it can be used alone, obviously, as will Reclamation and Ancestral Allegiance, in my opinion. Anyway, this node is turbo login. The tree has 8 nodes with 1 sextuple node and 2 dual nodes, so the possibilities are still plenty. I've raised the flexibility of the damage type as a potential issue, so I'm not mentioning it again here. That being said, you can definitely cut several unique ways to play from there, as Sylver himself mentioned in the comments. Before watching, I was thinking of something completely different, where you would sort of tattoo your war Ascendancy, with each node having a base effect and giving a way to tattoo a second one in, bringing it closer to what the Primalist was. In the end, a great work from Sylver, lots and lots of good ideas. Alright, time to wrap up. I'll see you in the next review. See ya.